Hello everyone and welcome back to Unit 4 of Control, and in this unit we have completed the sectional, or you can say the branching statement, including if else and switch statements, and they were I guess a bit new things to you all for a beginner programmer. And now it's turn of looping, or you can say the iteration statement, that I consider require more practice to understand. Okay, so here's the key: you need to do practice a lot so that you can catch up the syntax of all the things, all the loops and all sorts of statements. And for that you can go for websites like HackerRank and HackerOrth. You can practice question there, solve the question according to the topic itself or according to your level of programming skill. And you need not to worry if you don't know about these websites. I have a video link down below in the description which will help you to understand how to use those websites for practice. Okay, so the topic is iteration and looping statements. In while we are writing program, there are some situations where we need some instructions or some statements to repeat themselves, or we need those statements to run multiple times. And in those cases, the solution to that is, or you can say the shorthand to that is loops. So loops allow us to execute a statement multiple number of times, or number of times, multiple number of times, or unless a certain condition is achieved. And that is what we are going to study in this video. So the definition says iteration statements allow a set of statement or instruction to perform repetitively until to be performed repetitively until a certain condition is satisfied. Until or unless a certain condition is satisfied, the loop is going to run endlessly. Okay, and if the conditions turns out to be something which will never be satisfied, so the loop will run infinite number of times. And in that case your compiler may shut down, or your memory can get full. So you should be very careful while using these loops. And we have three loops in programming languages, not only in C, but almost all programming languages have these three loops, and their syntax is similar in all the languages. Okay, so first of all we are going for the for loop. For loop is there? Yes. Now this loop is used when we have prior knowledge of how many times a particular group of statement is to be executed. It is called an entry controlled loop. So this loop is used when we already know that this set of statement or this group of statements are going to run this number of times. We are very sure about the number of times the iteration or the looping process is going to happen. So you can see the syntax, and you need not to worry about the entry control loop right now. Right now I will tell you what is entry control loop. For now you can just imbibe, you can just let it sink in your mind that it is an entry control loop. And the syntax of the for loop is here. So for loop, you need to give a for keyword, and then there is parenthesis, and there is three sections, and three different sections have different and all these three sections have different work to perform. The very first section is the initialization section. So we need, when we start a loop, or when we iterate a set of statement, we need some variable or maybe array through which we are going to iterate. Or you can say the variable which is going to increment, or you can say the variable which is going to check how many times the loop has executed, or some sort of, you can say, some sort of that idea is being stored in that variable. So we need to initialize those variables in here in this section, and then we have semicolon. So all these three sections are separated by semicolon. Then we have condition which we need to achieve. Okay, so this condition should be, if the condition comes out to be true, then the set of, or you can say the body of for loop, or you can say the statements given in the body of for are going to get executed. And then we have updation. After each execution of for loop block, or you can say the for loop body, the updation of the variables that we initialized is going to take place. After the updation, the condition is again going to get checked. If the condition is true, again it is going to go and execute the for loop body, and after that is again going to update, and this cycle will go on. So very first step is it will initialize the variable, then check the condition, then run the body, then update, then condition, then run the body, then update, then condition, then run the body, unless or until the condition turns out to be false. So here is the flow chart for the better understanding. So first the initialization of the expression is going to take place, then initialization expression is going to get executed, then we have condition checked. If the condition is true, then it will go for the for loop body, and then going to update the expression, then again going to test the state condition. If the condition turns out to be false, then it is going to terminate the loop itself. Okay, let's have an example for the better understanding, and we are going to write a for loop which is going to print out 10 numbers, 10 integer number, or you can, let's say, 5 integer number. Okay, so for first is initialization. Let there be an we are going to iterate through variable I, and the condition is unless the value of I is less than 5. Okay, and then we need to increment I, and then we are going to print out the value of I. And let's run the program. Okay, we have not given the value I guess it is stop that program. So what is going to happen first? The value, when the variable I will be declared, and after that its value is going to get to 0, and after that it is going to check the condition if 0 is less than 5, which is true, and in that case this statement is going to get printed out. So we have the output as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and not 5, because when I turns 5, the conditions become false and it terminates the loop itself. So we can go with an compiler itself. You can see here first the compiler is on this statement. It has declared the variable I, and it is giving it a garbage value. It has not compiled this, or you can say executed this part, but it has the variable I is been declared. Now after that is going to check the condition and go for this statement, because its condition is very obvious. It will be true. So okay, I guess I have by mistake terminated the program. So let's go now. Okay, you can see the value of I is 0 and the condition was true. That is why compiler jumped to the print statement. Then it is going for the increment statement. It has incremented the value by 1 and has checked the condition. The condition turned out to be true. Then it again jumped to the print statement, and this cycle went 5 times, and after that the loop was terminated. And one more thing, all these three sections, you can say, all these three sections that you see, initialization, condition, and update section, they are not compulsory in for loop. Okay, you can initialize variable outside the for loop, but you need to write, you need to keep that part empty itself for the second part. You cannot simply write this and expect the compiler to treat this section as the condition section. It will not. Uh, you need to keep this section empty itself, and you can also keep this section empty, and even you can choose to get this section empty. But in this case, when all the sections will be empty, there will be no termination, because there is no updation, there is no checking of condition. So this will end up in an infinite loop, and I can show you that. But before that, let's see what if we are going to keep this out of the initialization section, and you will receive the same answer, same output. Yes, we are getting the same output. And what about the updation? If I'm not going to update the value of I, it is again going to end up in a infinite loop. uh, Infinite loop, and we can, instead of keeping plus plus I in updation section, I am cleverly using the body of for loop and keeping that plus plus I statement at the very end of the body, and we are again going to receive the same output. Yes, and if I'm going to remove this statement is going to end up in an infinite loop. Why? Because the value of I will remain 0, and this condition will always be true. You can see the infinite loop here. You can see the zeros are going down and down and down, and you can see here I'm scrolling it down and it is not stopping, so I need to stop the program from here itself. And I got this swirly thing, but it's taking some time to end up this program. And if I'm not going to, you can see how many zeros I have printed. You can see the cursor here. It was an infinite loop, and it was printing out 0 unless I stop the program manually. And if I do not add up the condition itself, then also it is going to end up in an infinite loop again. So this and I have the manual button to stop in here, but if you are using an old compiler, you are using an old compiler, you may end up or closing the whole setup itself. You need to close the whole compiler or a whole IDE on which you are working, and without saving the program. So mm, so don't take this infinite loop for granted, and keep your program clean, and make sure you don't end up in an infinite loop unless some programs required infinite loop. Okay, this was about for loop. See you in the next lecture.